Not the most emotionally mature couple on the island can't even communicate. Jeremiah talking about, I'm not mad, and clearly you're mad. I'm not playing these games. Please, boy bye. Welcome to Reality Reactions. I'm so excited to get back into my Love Island reviews. I do TikTok for Reality Reactions 3, if you ever want to follow me. But I am very, very excited to get into YouTube. I already have 65 subscribers, but now I want to set a goal of getting to 100. So please, 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 like, comment, and subscribe. I am so excited to get into it. Now, there's so much to cover. So let's get into it. First, we have Nick and Ace talking. They're relating over how Amaya is doing too much. Of course, Nick always have Ace's back, but I digress from that. Then Amaya is talking to Hannah. She goes into how their conversation went and how they keep talking in circles. He's not getting it. She keeps getting mad. But now at the end of the talk, she wants to be like, oh, Ace is still my number one. I still want to pursue. Baby girl, I don't think he feels the same way. Then we have Jeremiah and Alondria talking about Huda and being a parent, how that affected their relationship. Jeremiah still feels the same way about Huda, and for now, he's all about her, everything he's been saying. They get to talking, and then Alondria opens up and says, hey, she was almost with someone that had a child but couldn't do it because, the access to the baby daddy, for her was just too much. And often the baby mama doesn't want you involved in the co-parenting relationship. So she was like, had to back out. So that did get Jeremiah thinking a little bit, but he still feels like he wants to be with Huda. She did give him good advice by saying, don't only think about Huda in your relationship, always consider the daughter because they come as a package deal. Jeremiah also mentions that Huda committed to telling Nick so he can now, talk to Nick and get a guy's perspective. I'm really curious on why Huda's still having this secret because any new bombshell coming in knows you have a kid already. So it's not going to be this big secret to keep. They know what they're getting into and they're going to like you regardless. So, and everybody there you don't want to pursue. So just tell them. It's not a big deal to me. I don't want to speak for her. I don't want to be insensitive, but I just don't see what the big deal is. Austin and Shelly talk. They're talking about their connection and how it's growing. But last time I checked, I thought y'all were friends. I am very confused on how now we're still talking about, it growing and developing. Girl, if you don't feel it, I am a strong proponent. If you don't feel it in the first, I don't know, I guess in Love Island time, day or two, it's done. It's not going to develop. I don't believe in attraction growing or I know that she loves his personality, but if you can't get that first butterfly feeling in the first 1 to 2 days in Love Island time, I don't see it happening. Austin opens up about how he feels when she's exploring her other options. She definitely understands, but she wants to also let him know that she is still exploring. But I don't know if she was saying this exactly, but I think she was trying to give him reassurance by saying, we have had way more time to bond, connect, everything than Ace. So right now I am invested in our relationship or in our connection, but I still want to get to know Ace to see if it'll go anywhere. So that gave Austin the reassurance he needs that, he at least has a little bit of a one-up on Ace. In his confessional, he says that he's not falling for Shelly, but he is being vulnerable with her, which is something rare for him. So, and that's also why he supposedly, allegedly, has so many, bodies, because he, doesn't want to be vulnerable. He just wants, superficial relationships. So therefore, that's why his body count is high. Then we have the talk of the episode, other than the end, but I'll wait to get to that. So Jeremiah and Huda are talking about, their relationship, how they feel about exploring other people. It just keeps going on in circles about the same things. Before the kid, he was like, oh, I'm all about you. I'm all this, I'm all that. But as soon as she mentioned her kid, it's all about, oh, until I find someone else, And then when she's like, okay, since you want to talk to other people, should I talk to other people? He almost got offended at the even idea, the thought of her having options other than him. But you cannot stand on that. You can't say, I want to still explore if someone comes in, and then just be so appalled that she wouldn't just stand by you and still be closed off. And don't try to lie to me and treat me like I'm stupid. I know that you said, oh, you're committed to me for now. And then at the end, you want to be like, oh, no, I said, I'm all about you. Don't worry about it. I'm all about you. Please, I am not stupid. Also, Huda needs to understand that getting played is just the name of the game. Most of the people on that show is going to get played, rejected, embarrassed, humiliated. it's just the name of the game. So if you go into it thinking you're going to have a smooth sailing love journey, I wouldn't have much hopes. Then at the end, he says, or I guess she says, good job, something. I forgot what she said. He was like, oh, you're talking to me like I'm your child or something. It just felt, maybe the way that it was edited, I was very confused on why he was so mad. I've never heard him like complain about that. And then also, oh, you gaslight me when you're tired. When did this happen before? I didn't see no arguments, no nothing. So I'm just confused. I don't know if he's just nitpicking. So he has a laundry list of different problems that they're going through. So at the end, when he finds someone else, he can say, these are X, Y, and Z. I just can't get over it. I don't know what he's doing right now. Then he tried to say something slick and be like, oh, and how many guys pulled you for a chat? Okay, like, what? Was that something slick or was it just me? Y'all let me know in the comments. Then that night, everybody's getting ready for bed. Ace asked Nick for help to plan a yoga date the next day. And then Mr. Supposedly, I don't like to be touched, loves to touch Chelly, but I'm gonna leave that alone. So when everybody's about to go to bed, he goes over, gives Chelly a hug, but then comes back to Amaya and acting all brand new. I understand now. I'm not saying that he's unjustified because they just had an argument, but it's not helping your case. You don't want to be touchy-feely. You should have just said, I'm not feeling you, or it's just in the beginning. I'm not, give her a better explanation. You are all over Chelly while telling her, I don't want to be touched. Everyone goes to bed. They wake up the next morning. Ace is starting to get ready for his yoga date. Chelly's making breakfast for Austin. But what I thought was crazy is Chelly dropping everything she was doing for Austin for Ace. I think that was disrespectful. I would be pissed if I was Austin and you stopped your whole special thing for me for another man. Can't do it. Sorry, Chelly, can't do it. Ace tells Chelly to, get ready for the date. I need you to, get dressed now for our yoga thing. Goes up, gets dressed, try to be, get her clothes on. Then we have Amaya once again has an issue with someone. She comes in, oh, Chelly, I want to talk to you. I don't mind if it's in front of everyone. Okay, fine. Have that. Let's do it. Okay. So now she is talking to Chelly about, oh, so what's up with you and Ace? Because I think it's funny because of da. I think, y'all moving shady behind my back. All of a sudden now he wants to give me all these boundaries, but there's no boundaries with you. And I'm just not understanding. And Chelly's like, yeah, I definitely understand how you could feel that way. She's very understanding at first, but then Amaya keeps cutting her off. And I know that would be a pet peeve of mine. It's just like, okay, I give up. You're committed. It just felt like she's committed to being bothered. So Chelly was just not going to win either way. So she might as well have just backed out. It's just Amaya does not know how to listen and retain. It's just, we hear you, but you have to also be open to responding accordingly to the other person's response, because that's how a conversation goes. Also, Chelly doesn't even really know you yet. I feel like Ace is the one who picked you, therefore it's his responsibility to speak up and keep you in the loop. But that's just me. Alondria sneaks away from the argument and tells Ace, hey, you basically gotta cancel your date because your connections are, arguing, and she doesn't want to tell people's business, but she encourages him to stay transparent with all his connections, and he is visibly irritated. Nick and Taylor talk about Taylor's connection with Alondria and how the progress that they're making. And Nick, just encouraging him and telling him that, hey, I just care about your happiness. So whatever is best for you, do you. Chelly, Austin, and Jeremiah talk about what happened with Amaya upstairs right before the yoga date. She's just very confused on why the energy is shifted towards her. She feels like it should be towards Ace. Then we have Amaya and Ace talk. This went nowhere. They talked about the same things. Producers, Love Island producers, please, we do not need another talk. Please keep them separated by at least 6 feet. Let's enforce COVID rules for them. You could tell Ace was irritated with her because he goes into the conversation saying, this is how this is going to go. And you're going to listen to me. I'm going to listen to you. He was really trying to put his foot down. But in the end, like I said before, Amaya is committed to being irritated. So no matter what he could have said, it's not going to end well. So he might as well just back out and just stop trying to fix it. Ace ends the conversation by saying he doesn't want to pursue her. She's with her comebacks of saying, I don't want, basically, I don't want to pursue you either. And then they're cool, they walk away. Then we pan to Charlie and Austin in the sauna. Charlie just encourages Austin to, keep pursuing Chelly just be her peace, with all the drama that's going on. Be her peace and give her, good things to do. Keep her mind off it. That'll draw her closer to him. And I would say, you know what? That's not bad advice. Jeremiah and Nick talk and they jump in straight into it. Well, the editors do. It felt kind of edited to me, but Nick was saying it's always good to, have peace and quiet sometimes away from everybody. And then they go talk about Jeremiah and Huda's relationship. Nick says that she seems extremely dominant. And then he goes further into, sometimes she makes comments like, I'm her child, and he doesn't like that. He's like, oh, we'll get back to our high point of where we were, but we just got to work on some things. That's the one thing that's kind of in our way. Once we get, fix that, we're good to go. So he's still laying the foundation for like little pieces to different people, just so when big things happen, that he has someone to have his back. Nick, Huda, he can say isn't blindsided because he's been communicating this, exploring and then things to her. So I think he's just laying down the foundation for his next move. Then we have Ace and Alondria talking. Ace just wants to move past the whole Amaya situation. We keep going back and forth between Austin pulling Chelly for a chat also, to do some of his, I think, meditation moves that he learned. I'm not sure. And then Ace, it was pretty, well, he wasn't like fuming, but he was just bothered that he couldn't do his date for Chelly because of Amaya, and it got all messed up. Alondria's like, go get let me start over. Actually, he wants to interrupt the date, not the date, the time that Austin is having with Chelly, as soon as basically they got together within, the 30 seconds, a minute of them talking, and he wants it to pull her. I don't think that's fair. I think that's disrespectful personally. You already know how irritated and touchy the situation is. Do not try to put your own feelings above Austin's, because you already messed up his breakfast. Let's move on. Now we go to Ace and Chelly talking. So he expresses to her again that he is mad that he couldn't give her the date experience that he wanted to. Alondria, and then we go to also Alondria and Austin talking about his worries with Chelly and how much she's feeling him and how serious their relationship could get. All his worries that are in his head about also Chelly leaving him for Ace. Alondria just encourages him to just keep applying pressure. She really likes you, just really giving him some encouraging words. She also gave Ace encouraging words, so kind of playing both sides for her girl. So but all facts. When we go back to Chelly and Ace tells her that things are over with Amaya. But I will say on the note, well, the next thing that Chelly says is, sometimes it just feels like you have a wall up. You're not very vulnerable, but I can see that too, because it just feels like he's just giving her lines and lines and charming each time they talk. What about you? What do I know about you? I want to learn more. And then we saw what he learned about Chelly. He don't know much. I think it's very, very smart and very, very important to stay tuned in to how much you're actually getting to know each other. Or is it just lust? Or is it something that you can actually do long term? So Chelly's actually really smart for that, bringing that up and trying to notice that early before she wastes most of her time doing this cat and mouse game, because Ace needs to proclaim his like for Chelly. I don't want to keep seeing this back and forth. I'm with Austin. Pick and let's go. Then we pan to multiple shots of everyone getting ready for the night, and then we have Amaya saying, if her and her man are too peaceful, sometimes she likes an argument. We could tell. We can definitely tell. So I don't advise that, but I hear you, and we've all been there. Next, we have the game where the Islanders are going to go up one by one and pick a card that has like a messy question on it. They read it. They pick an Islander that most applies to. They come up, and then the Islander that read the question flips basically like a big coin that says kiss or pie. So if you get the lips side of the coin, you get to kiss that person. And then the other side with the pie, of course, you get to pie that person. So I'm not going to go into the full game because that would take my review forever. But I will say that Sierra said that Ace is here for clout. And I don't remember who said it, but so I think Alondria said that Jeremiah was going to fake it, was the most likely to fake it to the end to win for money. And then I believe on this question as well, Alondria flipped the coin. They got lips. So Jeremiah and Alondria would have kissed, but they just pecked because, just trying to be respectful and save that headache. And then Huda got the nerve to yell from the back, "Oh, you guys could have kissed. I wouldn't have got mad." Girl, you are just saying that because it didn't happen. You would be mad. "Oh, are you plotting on my man? Are you this? Or you better savor that kiss because that's the only one you getting." We would get comments out the wazoo. So please stop. Huda said that Ace is the one most likely waiting for someone better to come in the villa. He gets more mad about that later, but they clear it all up. But I don't know why he got mad. I mean, he is not happy with Amaya, so obviously you're the obvious choice. Next, we have Taylor. He is asked the question of who is trying too hard. He picks Amaya. Of course, she's mad about that as well, but they clear that up. I was very nervous about that. Thought that was going to be another, explosion of feelings, but she actually smoothed it over pretty quickly, so I'm proud of Maya. Then we have Sierra go. She has some question, but it really doesn't matter because all she wanted to do was kiss Chelly, so she didn't even really she picked her, didn't really flip the coin, just made sure that it said kiss, and then they kiss. Everybody goes crazy. Next thing I want to mention is Ace and Chelly. So he asked who has the best smile. I think said Chelly got the kiss coin, got the kiss part of the coin. They kiss, so he tries to get extra nasty with it. So he licks the pie and then comes and kisses her. He picks her up. Just oh my gosh, can you just at least be a little considerate of Austin's feelings? My goodness. But don't you worry, Austin get his lick back a little later. Now Austin got his lick back. I know that's right. So he picks Hannah for some question, and he, of course they get they get the pie. He pies her, but he wants to get his lick back, so he kisses Hannah, and he starts basically, moving up and down to symbolize something, just so he can, get Chelly a little riled up. So I didn't see much jealousy on her face, but he tried to get his big one. Then we go to the debriefs between the guys and the girls. The girls, oh my gosh, Amaya is going off again. Not one of her biggest, explosion of feelings, but definitely I feel like the girls were like, "You're doing a lot right now," and I'm glad she calmed down, but it's just like, girl, you cannot be this irritated all the time. You are always on go. Then Ace was mad too. That really surprised me because he gives like, "Oh, I don't care, I'm chilling, I'm confident, I'm this, I'm that," but you getting bothered by Huda saying that you're the most likely to wait for someone to come in. You keep saying explore. So what is insulting about that? Nick agrees with Ace that, Huda's kind of holding back and not being really transparent because she's trying to stay friends with everyone, but she should have just been honest. Of course, Jeremiah doesn't agree because they're talking about his girl. Then Nick goes into, I think, sometimes Huda is fraudulent. So that kind of really shakes Jeremiah. I think that he's kind of overdoing it. I don't think, because in the past they would press him about Huda and it wouldn't even really faze him, but now it changes your whole mood. That's crazy. I just don't see it. I think he's just using the situation just as another thing he can have on his belt to whip out when it's time to break up. Then we have Ace confronting Huda about, her answer. I could care less, Ace. Come on. Just try to move on. It wasn't even a messy question. You just want to, you just want to I'm not saying that you want to create an issue, but you just you gotta relax. Just take it on the chin. He believes that Huda may have a vendetta against him because she made some snarky comments right before bed as well. I don't know about that per se, but I wouldn't be shocked. I feel like she's trying to ride for her girls. So, I mean, that's kind of it. I don't think I would be very shocked. In the end, they figure it out. They, forgive each other and move on. But Ace is also saying, let's not let this happen again. Huda also mentioned he doesn't like physical touch. I didn't see her touch him. I could have just been not paying attention, but I was very curious on why she was kind of emphasizing, I know that you don't like to be touched. And I'm very curious on if he's genuine with this whole no physical touch thing, or is it just on Love Island? I'm not sure. I'm very, very curious on if it's a genuine I don't like to be touched, or he's just trying to be extra with it. I don't know. I can't tell. Then we pan back to the star of the episode. You guessed it, Amaya. So she is coming up. They playing the music. Austin is like, she scares me. I do not blame him. I would not want to argue with her either. It just seems so draining, and she doesn't even know that she is turning off the other guys. Like, she really needs to calm down. She confronts Taylor. He gives her his reasoning. Pretty much, she understands, and they move on. Now we go to the messiest scene of the episode. So it pans over to the group hanging, chilling, hanging out. Then we have Huda. She is going to Jeremiah, to be on her man, have him hold her, do little cute stuff. And then he goes over, shakes her hand. Boy, we take showers together. That is not what's gonna happen today. You gonna act like you ain't brand new. So then she's like, "Are you okay?" He gives her 2 thumbs up. Oh, okay. So now you don't even want to touch me. Now you giving me thumbs up. Okay, I'm pissed now. Don't you worry about it. Watch how I move tomorrow. If I was Huda, watch how I move tomorrow. You're not gonna hurt my feelings 4 days in. I'm not gonna be tripping about you 4 days in. So you better get your act together. She at first decides to walk away. She sits on the other side of the group, and then Nick notices that she's upset. They start talking about it, like, "Oh, do you know why Jeremiah is mad at me?" He starts playing clueless, knowing that it is his dang fault. So I'm gonna just let that slide. And then I think some of the girls went to go talk to her, and then she decided, okay, I'm gonna just talk to Jeremiah directly. She goes up to him and says, "Let's talk," and starts walking away. One thing I did not mention, Austin also asks Jeremiah if he's okay. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm chilling." And then Huda goes up and tries to connect with him and say, "Hey, let's talk. Let's go." It takes her, 1 or 2 asks, but he does get up. So thankfully that they're going to finally have a talk. So now they get back to the area where they're going to sit. She's like, "What's up? Why are you talking like this? Communicate with me. You're so big on communication. Why can't you just talk to me?" Now, this is like her, 4th time asking. By the end of the conversation, she had to have asked like 10 times, "How are you? Tell me how you're feeling. What's wrong?" I don't got the stamina. I don't do that. I am not doing that, especially for someone. Maybe if we're like 10 years in, maybe I'll do that because, I'm not like stuck with you, but it's just like you, my person. Like, I'm going to go to the ends of the earth for you. But you 4 days in, if you don't want to tell me, I'm going to be like, "Cool, thanks. Bye-bye." That's all I got to say. But Huda keeps trying, of course, because she has a genuine heart. But, there are some problems with Huda, but she does love very hard. And he would be lucky to have someone who loves him like that. But then, she keeps pressing. He finally tells her that Nick kind of got in his head about, he says half the group is in favor of their relationship. The other half is skeptical, saying, how do you know it's being, real? Because it's so quick, so early, wants to be committed so fast. But that's unfair. I feel like Jeremiah is encouraging it. If anything, he probably initiated, "I'm cool. Like, I want to be with you. I want it to be closed off." So I feel like he's kind of leading this conversation. So to put it on Huda, she's just following his lead because she really likes him and probably doesn't see much other prospects. So she's like, "I'm cool where I'm at." So it's just not always her fault. Huda's pissed because she's like, "So you're going to believe your friends over me?" Okay, let me back up. You all have met on the same day. So it's just a tricky situation. Like, if you were going into the real world and his friends said something, he probably would take their word over yours. But in this situation, I don't even know what's right to do. You want outsiders' perspective because you're in that villa all dang day. You don't know what's a good decision, what's not, if you just see that person constantly. This is where the episode ends. Just a zoom in of Jeremiah and Huda's face right after he reveals that where the guys' heads are at. So we'll see tomorrow's episode. I'm very, very curious on where this will go. I need some bombshells for sure. I need Jeremiah's type and then 2 more guys. That would be perfect for me. Perfect guys for Chelly and Alondria. Let's get the drama started. Thank you for getting to the end of the video. Love y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in to my first Love Island review in so long. I hope to see you tomorrow, and thank you and have a good rest of your day and be blessed.